All right, so today we got a special guest, Ville Viitanen. Did I say that right?
Pretty much,
Okay,
pretty much.
So I've been on a hunt for a car for the kids to do some kind of learning how to drift and slide, and I looked everywhere for cars. I mean, I looked all over Facebook, all over Net the Auto, which is kind of your guys' our auto trader or whatever, and
Yeah,
the biggest problem I had was just not getting anybody to call me back. So had a couple good E36s. We drove to Lapland to look at a couple cars, but nothing really panned out. And, I just so happened to coincidentally run into your dealership and, and found this E46. So we bought that and swapped the Honda for it. I'm kind of excited. I just went and we went over to the thrift store, the Keepatori parking lot, and we just let it rip around that.
So see you off and stuff.
Yeah. So Sophia wanted to kind of learn how to do it, and I'm going to teach Sam too. So it'll be kind of exciting, I think. And I mean, I've been coming to this town in Ylivieska for 25 years.
All right.
And ever since I've came here, this is always, especially wintertime, like all of the kids know how to drive in the winter. I mean, they're sliding all over the city. I mean, it was just fun to sit out there and watch it.
Or at least they think they know how to drive. But
I'm sure there's some good fails out there too. But I mean, you're from here, right? And this town, my wife used to tell me in the 70s was like the car place of Finland. I mean, like people used to come here to buy cars, and I think it was a relatively new city at that time, like people were flocking here in the 70s.
Yeah, it's true. And even today it is, I think it's third biggest car town of all Finland.
Oh, really? So I didn't know
it's
that it's still that way.
Yeah, it is. Of course, there used to be like over 30 dealers here back in like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Now I think it's about 20 now. We are the newest one in town. There hasn't been any new dealers like late years, but it has been like getting a little quiet, but it's still one of the biggest in Finland. I think.
And what is it like? Is it? I don't think it's top 15,000 people here.
15,000 around.
Is it around 15? Yeah. So
technically, it's one dealership for every 800 people. So that's really high grade.
Yeah, and when I first met my wife, I always have loved coming here. But when we thought about moving here a couple times, I was like, I don't know if I can live here. But, I'm older now, and it's way better than, living in Espoo or anything like that. I mean, it's got its good things and bad things, but I think it's relatively, a fun place.
I think the downsides, which everybody doesn't like, is that, in a city like this, everybody knows everybody. So I think that's the downsides.
That is definitely the problem with the small town.
Exactly.
Everybody knows whose wife has been where. And,
exactly.
I'm sure it comes with its small town problems. But typically, I think everything you need is pretty much here. I mean, they have a Karkainen, which is like our Walmart. And Prisma, pretty much you can buy everything there. And
different thing here comparing to everything, I mean, any else city in Finland is that it's a small city with 15,000 people, but it's growing. Most of the places, they are
decreasing.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's good.
That's the thing I like here in Ylivieska. It's different.
And I've been coming here 25 years and never seen the Northern Lights until like 3 days ago. I first time ever seen them, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, the winter is. You definitely have a better winter here than like in Espoo. Sometimes it freaking may never snow in Espoo, or a little here and there. You have some more time to.
That's true. Yeah.
And I don't know if it's true, but somebody told me that there's more rally drivers that come from Finland than any other country, like World Rally championships.
So. Yeah, there is many great names.
Yeah.
Especially in the VRC and stuff like that. So yeah.
And then I remember watching Kalle Rovanperä like 8 years old. I think somebody sent me a YouTube video. I think YouTube like was pretty much brand new, and here's this 8-year-old driving this car at 250 kilometers an hour down the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
And so, I think by 11, I started seeing more videos, and I'm like, this dude's going to be like world champion. And sure enough, what is he, 19 now, 20?
I think around that, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's just crushing it out there. And isn't there another Finnish rally driver out there too?
Right now? Or
in rally, or I could be wrong.
Yeah, there is. I think there is, but I think not of the top names like Kalle. I think it's but yeah, I myself I don't look that much rally myself. But
no,
yeah,
and it's not insanely popular in America. I mean we have the top NASCAR, shit like that. Formula One is getting more.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, I think it's getting, after that documentary they had on Netflix that came out about Formula One, like my cousin, who's not a car guy by any means, has, he went out and he's staying up at like 4 a.m. to watch races. I was like, really, dude?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think it's really cool. I like a lot of different racing. I was never into sports. My dad's a big sports guy. Was not into any sports really growing up. Cars really just was the main thing.
Yeah, I think the the F1 has been the most popular thing in Finland. I think for ages. Yeah, it's been because of the Kimi Räikkönen and stuff, names like that. So it's
and before him was there it was Kalle's or was it Kalle's dad was in Formula One? You're telling me.
No, I don't think he was in the F1, but in the rally, I think yes.
Okay, it was rally. Okay. Yeah, I mean, so many good drivers from here.
Yeah.
And you see why. And somebody explained it to me too, that I think I saw it on Top Gear. It was a Top Gear episode where they came to Finland and they were saying that because they spend a month on the skid pad when you're learning to drive, you really learn how to drive the car when it's sliding out. That's a totally different concept than what we do. Is just hand the license over and be like, go.
Yeah, and Finnish driving school includes driving on the icy roads, and there's like test tracks with ice, and you need to slide there and keep the car on control. And at least there was. I don't know if it's nowadays, but it was kind of fun.
Yeah, I think that's got to be the fun part of it.
Yeah, you could bring your own car there, so you can guess people came there with Ford Sierras and Volvo 240s and cars like that.
Yeah, it's funny because you guys have a lot of of course Volvo is such a huge influence since it's next to Sweden, but so many cars that we don't have in the States. So coming here was always cool to see, like the European influence and.
Yeah, and the Finnish car culture is pretty strange because people tend to drive really old cars here.
Yeah.
Like if I remember correctly, the middle age of the Finnish car is like 2006 or 2005 currently. So it's really old. Like people tend to drive 20-year-old cars, which is crazy. In some countries, people think like, who the hell wants to drive a 20-year-old car?
And somebody told me that like in Japan, they like anything used to Japanese people are like, it's like trash.
Yeah.
They just don't care about anything like that. Everything is, new.
Yeah, it is. It's different here.
Yeah. I mean, I think like the European influence on BMW. Like, why is BMW so huge here? I mean, I was just talking with Sam, and he was saying that like every one of his friends, that's all they want is BMW.
Well, that's the most common car we sell as well. So,
yeah,
it is. That's true.
Yeah. So you guys, how long you been in doing it? 5 years, was it?
I think, at next summer, it's going to take 5 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And so you just kind of fell into it. You're like, I didn't know until you told me earlier that you were training to be a pilot. And
yeah, I used to, but then I don't know why, but some part of me, I really wanted to get to the car business back. I used to do it for 2 months before I went to teaching as a pilot. But I think it was a mistake because I was the 2 months before that, I was in the car business. If I never be, I think I will still be as a pilot. But I think the 2 months, gave me something that I wanted to get back then, and that's why I decided to swap back. So I think that, well, some people say it was stupid, but
hey, but
at least I like this.
There's no reason that you can't have both. I mean, for me, I mean, I think that the car business can kind of give you the, you know, the finances to do, which I mean, to own a plane is like insanely expensive. I mean,
yeah, well, it is, yeah.
So yeah, my son started learning and really liked it. He, like I said, I have a friend that has a pilot training school, and he went there and started learning and just really liked it. And he was never really mechanically inclined, like he didn't care about fixing cars or anything. But you know, like in the pilot school, they teach you how carburetors work and how to change the mixture and, you know, what magnetos are and all the basic, you know, car stuff. So it was kind of cool to see that you can learn it from a different aspect too.
Yeah, it is. And
not from your stepdad in the garage taking apart old cars and trying to get stuff going.
Yeah, myself, I was surprised that, well, for example, the Diamond plane, I mean, I think it was DA40, it uses the Mercedes diesel engine. It's a normal diesel engine there. And
really, in the plane?
Yeah, it's the normal diesel turbo engine. So it's, I was thinking like, who the hell can drive this? Because, well, the engine was known to be, well, let's say it's not the most reliable engine in the cars.
Yeah.
You use the same engine in the
plane.
I think, yeah, exactly. Of course, it has little modifications, but the basic engine is the same. So
that's crazy. Yeah. Luckily, thing with the plane, you can, or with the car, you know, you just pull to the side of the road.
Yeah, exactly. If the check engine lights comes on, you are like, okay, I'll pull next to the road. But yeah, you can do that there. So yeah, but yeah.
So when's the last time you've been flying?
I think it was 22, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have the medicals anymore. I haven't.
Oh, you have to get them. Yeah,
yeah,
to keep them up.
Yeah, exactly. So I haven't been, in a couple last years, I haven't been keeping them up. But maybe one day again. I don't know.
Yeah. And why did you want to do the pilot? Was there anybody in your family pilots or?
No, that was just. It has just been the thing from even since I was a 5-year-old.
Oh,
I
really?
always wanted to be, but when I got there, I found out that maybe I like the cars even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No reason you can't have both, I think. So.
Yeah, we shall see. But
yeah. And the one question I always ask is, what was your first car?
Well, technically, when I got the license, I was driving a 1990s Opel Corsa. Like I think you saw the car. It was today on the dealer. The red one. Yeah, it was on the dealership today.
Oh, really? That's yours.
You saw the red. Yeah, there was the red Corsa in the corner.
That's your first car?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't mine, but I got to drive it. But the first car I bought, it was a 2001 Audi S3.
Ah, okay.
It was I always wanted to 4-wheel drive car, and
yeah, I think I remember you talking about getting that, or maybe Arttu was talking about it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I was looking a lot of. I was a huge fan of Subaru Impreza, and I always wanted to the VRX STI model, but well, for some reason then there was one S3 for sale here in Ylivieska. It was a white one, and I went to see it, and it was a private seller, and I test drove it, and well, it was a lot cheaper than the Subaru, so went with that then.
Yeah, and it's funny, that's another car they did not make in the U.S. was the A3, which was to me it was the Golf 4, you know, like redesigned, but of course the engine sit in there different.
Yeah, it's like upside down. Yeah.
So that was always another car that I saw that I was like, oh wow, that's such a cool design.
Yeah, it's a fun car to drive. Even though it's a Haldex Quattro system, it's like not a permanent 4-wheel drive, but it's 1.8 turbo, and it's, if I remember correctly, it's 225 horsepower stock.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a small car, so it's very fun to drive.
So yeah, going back to that A3, my friend would like to convert it. I don't know how hard it is. I saw some YouTube stuff, people converting them to 4-wheel drive. So I think it would be cool.
Yeah, it is. I think it's not a big of deal to do, because you can have the original version of it as well. And technically the Jetta A3 and Golf and also Seat Leon, they are same car, or at least on the same body kit. So
yeah, and that's the other thing. We don't have any Skodas. We don't have any Seats. I saw when I lived in California, a couple Seats come from Mexico. But
Oh.
never
All right.
never had any of those neither. So we're limited to kind of what we can get here.
Well, technically it's the same car, so Skoda
Yeah.
Octavia and Seat Leon, they are the same car, so
Yeah.
well, pretty much you don't lose anything.
Yeah. And I think when I first moved here, I bought a Golf 2 GT, and then I put the Seat Leon, all the seats from it in there, and then different wheels, and I can't remember what I did, but that was a fun little project.
So second generation Golf.
Yeah,
To make these.
yeah,
Okay.
I've probably had 10 of those.
All right.
They're really fun cars to do.
Yeah,
I've had a bunch of GTIs. I had a couple Jettas, which you guys call Ventos here.
Yeah, yeah.
And actually had a friend of mine show me Volkswagen. Like I did not give a shit about Volkswagen. I was into V8 cars and Mustangs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then my friend bought the little GTI, and I was like, "What is this thing, dude? What? You bought this?" He's like, "Oh yeah, this is like the funnest car ever to drive." I'm like, "You got to be fucking kidding me, dude!" And then he took me out in it and scared the absolute shit out of me in broad day traffic, weaving in and out of cars. I mean, because it's so small and nimble, you can just scoot around. I mean, and he could drive pretty good too. And I mean, I was like, "Okay, I get it." And then I was hooked on him from that point forward.
Yeah,
So
it is.
I had a bunch of them.
It is one of the most, one of the best engines to if you want to add some horsepower on it.
Yeah.
I think it's the second best. Only Audi engine I think is better is the 2.2 5-cylinder turbo, which they use in Audi Quattro and in the Rally.
Yeah, and then I bought there was a South African dude working at the plant where I was, and he bought a Volvo 850R.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is a badass car. And, you know, like I had just been with my wife a couple years, and she had 2 kids, so I was like, I need something bigger, because she had the Golf. So I asked him, I said, well, why don't you sell me this? And he goes, no, I don't want to sell it. All right. So I started looking for one, and there's no internet then, you know. It was like Auto Trader and shit like that. So I find one a couple of hours away, exact same fucking car. I mean, same color. It was exactly the same. Couldn't find a manual, but that car was the biggest sleeper I think I had. It had the 5-cylinder, 240 horse, I think.
Yeah.
And I mean, although it's front-wheel drive, I remember coming home from work one night and pulling in some parking lot. There was a bunch of young kids out there with Mustangs and stuff, and one kid's like, is that a turbo? I said, yeah. He goes, oh, you want to race? It's like 2 a.m. I said, yeah, sure. So we go down this road, and I mean, it was a V6 Mustang too. It wasn't even like a real Mustang. And I just blew his doors off like 4 or 5 times. And there's a guy in a Cobra Mustang behind him. Those were like 305 horsepower back in the day. And he was watching us race. And so he pulls up next to me. Or, you know, let him go, and then I slowed down, and then the Mustang goes, like I said, you want to go? And the guy's like, you want to race me? I said, yeah. And so we went, and I mean, we probably raced to 130 miles an hour down this road, and I mean, he had me by maybe a car and a half. Yeah. And I mean, that's like saying something, and we pulled over, and the guy goes, what in the fuck is done to this thing? Are you serious? This thing is that fast? I said, yeah, I had the boost turned up on it. That was about it. You couldn't do any mapping back then, you know.
Yeah.
But fun car, man. I mean,
it is, and it's really cheap to get to 300 or 400 horsepower. It's like you add 2,000 euros to the engine, and that's it.
Yeah.
It is.
My first car was a '82 Nissan Sentra, which is your Sunny, I think.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It was a very. Look that up, Sam. That's a fantastic looking car. I mean, but you know, it was my first car, and I was not. My dad, I think, knew that, you know, I wasn't a huge saver. So my dad said, you know, everybody was driving like new BMWs to school and shit, and I was like, am I going to get a car? And he's like, oh, you want a car? Look up 82.
82.
Yeah, that's way nicer than what I had. And so he goes, I tell you what, you save up whatever you can. And I was working at like McDonald's. I was like 15. He goes, whatever you save, I'll match it. First check. $250 about like a $500 car. It's just like that silver one, but it was a 2-door. Yeah. It wasn't even the nice hatchback. Yeah, it was like that, but two-door. It's actually like that blue one right there.
This is two-door.
That's four-door.
Oh, never mind.
It's like that one right there, next to it. Yeah. Yeah. Not easy to pick up a lot of chicks in that car, but
Yeah,
I
that's
somehow
so,
managed it when I was young.
Nowadays it will be if you drive this to Livieska Center. Yeah, everybody comes in your car.
So yeah, that was fun. And so, what is your what is your dream car?
Well, unfortunately, they are the cars I probably can never afford. But if I could get one car, I think it will be Lamborghini Countach. But,
Yeah.
I think.
I have a friend in the U.S. that's in Georgia. He had a tech. I think he developed some game. I think I can't remember the name of it, but he sold it for like 40 million or something like that. And he has a garage he has a red Countach. He has like all the cars that that I wanted when I was a kid. He's got them in there. He's got he's got a DeLorean. He's got a bunch of cool stuff, iconic stuff that you would want.
It is a great car, and personally, I always loved the 80s and 90s design in the cars.
Yeah.
For me, the Countach, it's the best looking Lamborghini ever made. I don't like the new ones that much. I think the Diablo is still fine. It's good for me, but something there is in the Countach which I like the most. Maybe it's the pop-up lights or something.
Yeah.
But,
Did you see the redesigned Countach? That looked pretty cool, I thought.
No, I haven't.
Oh, you have to check it. Let's see if it comes up there. Yeah, I mean, that's just what it's his is just like that red one there.
Yeah.
With the gold wheels. And I had when I was a kid a black one sitting in the grass. I think such an iconic photo, black with sitting with the silver wheels. And
it is one of the greatest I have seen. Well, I was thinking back then even if I get one day for somehow, maybe I'd have been lottery or something. But I was thinking that, well, even if I could somehow afford to buy one, I could probably not keep it running. It's as I heard, it's the worst piece of shit made.
It is. It's crazy.
You replace the clutch for every 5,000 kilometers, and it's like 10 grand job to do. And maintaining the car is even more expensive than buying one. So
or just LS swap it and be done.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really piss people off.
Yeah, I will probably put 1.8 turbo and DS transmission on it and then drive it.
Be way more reliable.
Yeah.
But when I started working in classic cars, they had the Ferrari Testarossa, like from back in the day, and that was like a dream car of mine, and I got to drive it, and I mean, what an uncomfortable car, and the gated shifter, which I always thought was the coolest thing, but first being here, and then second and third, it's crazy, just
yeah, it is, and Ferrari has always been known about the bad clutches. So it's,
well, this one, it had I think 18,000 miles on it, and was it 18? It was right around 20, I remember, and at 20, it needed a $40,000, service. It needed the timing belts changed. I was like, and so everybody that looked at the car, and it had one accident on it. It was fucking impossible to sell that car.
Yeah.
Everybody that came to look at it, and it wasn't like insane money. It was like 80 grand or something like that, but nobody wanted that car. And if it's a Ferrari and it's broken,
It is hard to sell, and overall, I think the classic car business, it's the thing that everybody wants to do. Me thinking myself, of course, we would like to sell only the sports and classic cars, but it's really hard business comparing to normal sales.
Yeah, you need the little ones too.
Yeah,
to make keep the lights on.
Exactly. I see it like the classic cars, they are like the cherry on the top.
Yeah.
It's really hard to make the main business on it.
Yeah. And that's, I always wanted to do cars. And I always kind of did them on the side. I remember when you took off and started doing it, I was like, he's crushing it out there. And I mean, when I looked, he's got 150 cars for sale. I mean,
yeah.
Or how many? 300?
We have around closer to 300 now, but I think there is for sale like 200 now.
Okay.
We got some inventory which is not for sale yet.
Yeah. And I always did it on the side. You know, it was just like buy one, flip here, like hobbyist. And,
Yeah.
when I decided to do it, it was way easier. And I tried to do some stuff here in Finland, but the market is just not big. You know,
It's really small. Yeah.
That's especially when you're used to that market in the U.S. It's, I mean, you know, 360 million people. It's so easy to.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll find somebody that wants it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Of course, there is a lot more cars as well there, so it's well,
Yeah,
if,
way
for
more
example,
cars.
if you have Testarossa in Finland, it's probably the only one for sale. But in the US, there's like 15 of those.
Yeah.
For those at the same time. So
Yeah.
it's. But yeah, it is. I'd say it's way easier there than here.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, there's some easy things, but it's what I've been doing now for, I don't know, over a year now. So, but it's fun. I love cars, and to do. My grandfather used to say, if you can do what you love, then you know it doesn't feel like work. And
Yeah, exactly.
That
I
definitely
agree.
is true.
Yeah, that's what you should do then.
Yeah.
If you wake up in the morning and you are, you like to go to the work, then I think it's the right thing to do. Yeah. Some people get annoyed to wake up in the morning and they only wait till the Friday. But for me, it has been always, at least when I have been on the car business, it has always been like it's nice to wake up on the Monday and go to the work.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah.
So.
And since I travel back and forth to Finland, and my family's here in Ville Viitanen, I mean, you know, I'll be working and I'm like, oh shit, it's 11 o'clock. Maybe I should go home
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
You know, like, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of funny. But it's been really fun having you on, man, and I appreciate you coming.
Yeah, no worries, of course.
And so
It's
maybe we
nice.
can do it again when you get some of those JDM cars in. From
Yeah, of course.
overseas.
It's nice experience to have.
Yeah.
And, nice.
And tell everybody where to find all your cars at for the Finnish people.
Yeah, well, most of them, pretty much all of them are in the Nettiauto. So
On OV.
Yeah, OV Auto,
Okay.
Nettiauto. So or website. They include the both. But,
Yeah. Well, cool, man. I appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
man. Good
Thanks a
talking
lot.
with you. And thanks for the car. So we'll see how it goes. I know, I think it's a good clean slate to start with, and the kids can do a little stuff, and they can kind of get the idea of how to, you know, kind of transform the look of a car.
Myself, I always like the original cars. Like if you can find some car, for example, E46, you can find a stock model, which nobody hasn't done anything yet. I think that's the best possible one you can have, because then you know everything you change to it, you know everything in the car, because it's completely stock.
Yeah, and nobody's been in there hacking wires and changing stereos, and you never know what happens.
Because 90% of those cars, they have been modified somehow.
Yeah.
So I always liked, and myself, I try to find the original ones always, but it's really hard sometimes, especially in the BMWs. It's really hard.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you cannot find those models anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it'll be fun, and so we'll rip it around the corner, and Sam's up next to learn how to control it a little bit. But I think it's a good car to start with, and I appreciate you selling it to me, and
Happy to hear you.
And bringing it all the way from Tampere.
Of course, it's always a nice trip to drive that car like that, 400 kilometers.
Yeah, better than
maybe if it was July, I will maybe not do that.
Yeah,
but,
well, that's going to be a problem, but we'll see. Won't be for me. But
all the power windows are there, so and we can we can make you a sunroof if you want.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, we got really good chains up there, so
really? Okay.
Yeah, we can make one. It's not guaranteed for to be waterproof, but but they really used to make. There was in the older Volvos and Saabs. I think there was back in the 90s and 80s there was a sunroof called Finlandia sunroof.
Okay.
And you got like aftermarket install to every car, like mostly Volvos and stuff. And it was known to be the whoever had the Finlandia's aftermarket sunroof, it was known that 80% or 90% sure that it's gonna leak some water
Yeah.
inside, and every one of them leaks the fucking shit ton of water inside the car.
It's so hard to find, for me to find cars with, modified sunroofs and stuff.
I think it doesn't exist. The good modified
Yeah.
sunroof, it doesn't exist. So
But a lot of people don't know that Finland is also known for in Uusikaupunki. What's the name of the plant there where they made all the Porsche Boxsters and they made
Mercedes,
this,
yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
they're making the A or B series Mercedes.
A class, yeah.
Yeah, and they made what was the electric car? The Karma Fisker, the Fisker Karma.
Yeah,
Was made there.
Yeah, it was.
And so they're known for like convertible roof systems. That's like how they started their fame. I think with Saab or something like that. So
Probably, yeah. Yeah, I think it was Saab 900.
Yeah.
Probably, yes.
so that's cool.
Yeah. It's, well, Saab is one of the, in my opinion, Saab is one of the most unappreciated car makers.
Oh yeah, I agree. I love those old Saab 9000s.
Yeah, and it was the first manufacturer to include the turbocharger to benzene engines. It was only in the diesel back in the 80s, but Saab made it to the benzene engines as well, and it was great.
Yeah, because my friend had a turbo coupe Thunderbird, and so I was like stuck on turbo cars, and I remember Saab was one of the only ones.
Yeah, it's and I like the looks. It's like really personal. I think some people find it really ugly, and some people like it. But I'd say it's personal. That's how you always know what is the Saab. It's really personal looking car.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the triangle rims on them. And
Oh yeah, those were cool, man. And I saw some other ones that are like the Sonet. I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, it's V4 engine.
Yeah.
And that it's like crazy. I don't know why the fuck you make V4 engine, but yeah, why the
there
hell
it
not?
is.
Somebody made the rotary engine as well, and I managed to buy one, and it was the worst decision of my life.
I've had a ton of RX7s.
I have one FC model myself, but
Yeah, I've had 3 FCs, and 2 of them were Turbo 2s. And I just my friend's mom had one of those when we were young.
Yeah.
And I had to have one, so it was pretty fun.
yeah, I was.
But yeah, they're very fuel efficient is not a word that you use.
For example,
with
you
those
think
cars.
the engine cubic capacity or liter capacity is 1.3, and it's eating like 20 liters per 100 kilometers. So you think like it's cheaper to drive a GT Mustang than this one.
Exactly.
I always, like 4 years ago, I wanted to JDM car, but I also had a huge fever for the convertible, and I was thinking that fuck, I cannot buy both. I thought maybe I'm just gonna buy E36 Cabrio, but then I wanted some JDM turbo car, and I was looking for like a couple of weeks at what kind of JDM cars there are, and I only came up to Honda S2000.
Yeah,
but they were hell of a price on them.
Yeah, those are even the JDM versions.
Yeah, it's like 30K here.
Yeah,
and
that was another car that I drove. Before I drove, I was like, I don't get it. To me, it's like a chick car. I don't understand why anybody likes it. And then I drove it, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
I totally get it now. But it takes like that. You get somebody behind the seat. That's how I think the claim to fame was sales too.
Yeah,
put them in the seat and let them drive it. And then
that's true. Sometimes it surprises you when you drive it. But yeah, the S2000 was 30K, and I had budget of like 10K, and I was looking like what the hell you can buy, and then I found out you can find an FC Turbo 2 as a convertible as well.
Yeah, they didn't make that in the States, but I think in Japan they made it.
Yeah, I think it's like Savannah or something in the States, right?
Is it what?
It's like special model, like it's something called Savannah or something, RX7 FC Savannah or something.
Yeah, it's RX7.
Yeah.
FC, they made, I had a convertible, but it was not turbo.
Okay.
So the turbos were all coupes or hatchbacks.
Yeah.
And then I don't think they made, a lot of people made them because everybody took the Turbo 2 hood and put them on naturally aspirated cars.
Exactly. Yeah.
That hood was just so...
Yeah,
so
it's
cool.
It's nice. In the end, I found one for like 9K from Netherlands, and I bought it, and I drove it one summer, and now it's without the engine there.
Yeah, that's a perfect LS car. I mean, they've been 350 V8 swapping those cars forever too.
Yeah, probably.
And running 12s in the quarter. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like crazy. And now LS swapping them. I drove one. One guy had a convertible in Georgia. There's a guy LS swapping them, and I mean, it's fun.
Yeah.
I will say. It kind of defeats the purpose, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, well,
you know?
it kind of is the rotary car, but yeah, why the hell not? Why the hell not? In
The
end,
LS is just so low profile; it's easy to stick.
Yeah,
with
you can pretty
and
much.
you can get them.
Yeah,
They're a dime a dozen in the States. You know, every
You can
Tahoe has one, and
you can pretty much LSWAP anything.
yeah,
Pretty much
Yeah.
anything. If it fits in the engine bay, you can LSWAP it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. But yeah.
Well, cool, man. I appreciate your time, dude. Thanks
Yeah.
again.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, we'll do it again.